Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and this is TSF. We are here to review the. I don't know if I should call it famous or infamous now. Record of Ragnarok on Netflix anime. So all four of us have watched it. All four of us have different opinions about it, but we'll let you know our thoughts, of course. First of all, Samin, what did you think about the show?
Uh, Basically, when the preview started coming out, I was excited. It was an interesting concept, but watching the show, it was difficult to get through because after watching like 4 or 5 episodes, I had to stop and then walk away from it for a couple of days, and then I just had to power through it in the end. So, in the end, basically, I was kind of disappointed.
True, true. I mean, the only thing that kept you going was Loki and your love for him. So there's that.
That might have tempted me back, but the very next second I was like, nope, nah, 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 nope.
Definitely not. Mubarak, what about you?
Samin asked us to watch this show, and I was like, okay, this is,
I'm sorry. It was an interesting concept. Okay, I
It
take it
was
back.
an
it
interesting
I
was.
take
concept,
it
though.
back.
And that's no, and that's why I watched it, because it was an interesting concept. Like, I
Yeah.
trust Samin's choice of anime, and the previews looked good, but then when we finally started watching it, I'm like,
What is this?
exactly, are you sure this is what we're watching? Am I watching the correct show? And it was like so dragged, this show. It was so difficult to watch. Now, this is where I'm going to say something controversial, and Amr is going to kill me for this. I watched the entire show except for the first 10 minutes of this show in 1.5 speed, because it was that difficult to watch.
No,
Let me answer
no.
that. Let me
I
answer
watched. I
that.
watched in normal speed.
I
So
don't even blame you, Mubarak. This show was slow as heck for me too, and at one point I was like this. Please get on with it already, please. Damn
uh,
it.
I will have you know,
I don't blame you, Mubarak.
I watched it on normal speed, but I sort of skipped the flashback scenes. Like, okay,
Yeah,
I get most of them basically. I saw I just saw them in fast forward. I just skipped most of the flashbacks.
That's
yeah. But
probably
what I
worse
would
than what
really
we
like,
did.
but what I would really like is Amir, just explain us how Mubarak sold you the show, as he always does, because that needs to be on
Mubarak
record.
didn't. So like Sameen messaged in the group that we're doing this show. I was like, okay, then Sameen is saying this is a good show. Then I saw a picture of Thor's concept with a bazillion ab muscles. That's something that I have to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, Mubarak didn't exactly sell me the show. Mubarak gave me a warning like he does, but that warning is always, it's like,
Cryptic.
why? Exactly. It
Cryptic.
is so cryptic. It is so coded. It's like, why even give something like that? You just play up my anxiety. He's like, you just watch the first episode and let us know if you think we should review this. I did, and I was like, okay, then my eyes are already bleeding. Might as well watch the entire show,
Might
right?
as well gouge them out.
Yep. I mean, who needs eyes anyways, right? So I watched the entire show. Here's like over the top pointers, then we can get into the thick of it.
Hmm.
Uh, I like the concepts. I like the visual concepts of the gods. I mean, okay, fine, you have to fit them in somewhere. But some of the general things which I didn't like is, for one, thank you, Sameen, for wearing that shirt. Where the hell are all the other gods?
Where are
There's
the
only
Egyptians? There's
there,
only Greek and
there's
Norse.
only Greek and North. There's only a focus on these two, at least
And
in the
Indian.
first season. And there's that
Yeah,
one Indian god. Seriously, we need more diversity, sir. Let's add one Indian god. Like
and
just
that gets the show banned in India.
Yeah.
yeah, because
The
they don't like that representation of their god.
Mm.
I don't think India likes any kind of representation. I don't know, but like
Hmm.
they don't like their gods being shown in anime or in
Hmm.
movies or something like that. They don't like that.
Unless they do it themselves.
I khair, jo bhi baat hai. Like the concepts, they're fine, right?
Hmm.
The theme of the show is fine, but
I
it's
guess
just
this.
like they just cherry picked the best gods from the all the mythologies that everyone would definitely like, and they just threw them in there, and they
Yeah.
tried to mix and mash them up some way or the other the Valkyries and everything. It's just a mess. Like, and now let's get into the historical characters because I have to. Seriously, Lubu has shark teeth. Lubu has
Yeah.
a bazillion ab muscles. Is the strongest man who has ever lived. What?
I mean, I went back and read Lubu's history, and I'm like,
I just
What?
like I said, this is the typical anime of all animes. It tries to sell you some eye candy by showing you, I hate to use this word, but then again our content is 18 plus anyways, boobies and just shots of
I
them
knew this was
from every.
coming. I knew this was
I'm
coming.
sorry, but I have to say this. Like, they just have to show them. And there's also a little something for the girls. There's like a bazillion ab muscles. There, I don't even think anatomy allows that many ab muscles.
No, it doesn't. No, it
My favorite
doesn't.
part ever will be when Zeus in the show attains his ultimate form. And what is his ultimate form? He has ab muscles on his back as well. So, so this show is
Adamus
just.
form.
I,
So
And
this show is.
speaking of that form, why did they have to invent a 13th Olympian, Adamus?
Exactly.
which didn't
That's the.
even make sense. Which didn't even make sense. I was like, okay, wow. But that's where where the whole historical inconsistency thing comes in as well. Any other historical inconsistencies that you noticed, Amir?
There are so many. I just want to treat this anime as an eye candy piece. I stopped focusing on it at one point. I was like, I'm just gonna watch and let it hurt me as much as it can because I'm watching it purely for the popcorn entertainment that it is. And as far as
I-
popcorn entertainment goes, now let's get it. As far as the popcorn entertainment goes, the show is okay. The fights are interesting. They're amazing. It's just that we hope that they would, just
Be
get along with
faster.
it. No, not faster. The pacing of the fight is okay. I just hate it when they
it's
interrupt it in the middle to show us
with
the backstory of Lubu, and they
Exactly.
interrupt
It
it in
didn't
the
make
middle to show
sense.
us the backstory of the samurai guy. They just cut away from the fight in the middle, and then we also have those long dragging scenes in the middle of fights where we're. I really hated that guy who was like my liege, Lubu's
yeah.
general or
Yeah.
lieutenant. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
That is accurate
It
though.
kind of like felt like borderline, I don't know what, obsession. I don't even know what to call it
Creepy
anymore.
obsession, man.
Creepy obsession, exactly.
That was what we call a creepy fangirl.
Yeah, creepy fangirl,
That
However,
exactly.
was.
I must add that is the one historical accuracy in this entire show.
His,
I have followed the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I have played Dynasty Warriors. Lubu and Chengong, they have that exact relationship that it's like the whole time. And as for
Hmm.
Lubu being the
Interesting.
strongest person, yes, he is. Well, in the game, he is the strongest person.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Even
I actually
even
liked that.
historically, he's treated as a very fearsome warrior. Even
Yes,
historically, he's treated as that. Of course, there were some exaggerations that the show did,
of course.
which,
yeah.
of course, number one being his gigantic side. He wasn't.
No, he
Wasn't
was.
as
He actually was that big.
really.
His tattoos and his shark teeth, that was creative liberty. Even his ponytail, those two classic thingies, that is very iconic of him.
That is canon. Okay,
That is
okay.
iconic from
Not
the romance.
Yes, not
Yeah.
from like the historical aspect.
Like, about the characters, let me clarify. It's not like they completely destroy the characters. They do take iconic things from those characters when they're placing them in. It's not like it's just completely changed. It's just that you can't call them historical at this point. They are
It's
completely
kind of like
fantasy.
they're borrowed from the mythology, but at the same time they are
Yeah.
doing a little fresh take on it. Personally, there were a few characters who I liked the way they did.
Yeah.
For example, Thor was different, definitely
Thor.
different, because you're always so accustomed to seeing him as this bearded and really
Norse
His,
tribe.
blonde deity
his
or a
I
giant oaf.
like
This was
definitely
his
not
different.
agree.
design, basically Thor's design was sort of, I guess, Greek in nature, like the whole
Yeah, which didn't make
the toga
sense.
style.
which didn't make sense because I
Yeah.
mean the Nordic lived in lands which are
Yeah, they
freaking
had,
cold.
yeah, they had furs and armors
They
and
had furs and armors, exactly.
yeah.
So it would make sense. I mean, Odin was dressed up really good. I mean,
Mm.
although Odin sort of looked like his goth phase isn't over. So even though 2009, it's bye bye. But yeah, oh, I kind of liked Odin's design because even the voice actor did a very good job at giving Odin that feel. But coming back to my previous the previous point about when what Amit highlighted about historical inconsistencies, if you see the Asgard flashback when the Jotnar are attacking it, why is there a Greek building inside Asgard?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I sort of, and the way I understood it, it's like all the gods are sort of living in the same area, maybe. So
No, no, no,
it's
no,
like a diff.
no.
I
That's
don't know.
exactly what they did, Asad.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why
Come
I don't want
on.
to talk
yeah,
about it.
Okay, then I missed it, and now I hate it. I should give it a
yeah. No,
score
no,
lesser now.
because there were
All the
buildings of
gods,
other
all the
designs as
they
well.
don't even reference Olympus. All the gods live apparently in this walled city, which is guarded by guardian angels.
Yeah,
All right.
Kill me now.
So the Jotun or the giants are attacking a walled city where all the gods lived, and which that city is supposed to be Asgard. I don't know. I don't remember if they say that that is
No, no,
Asgard.
they say that. They say that it's
Okay, that
Asgard.
city is Asgard. It has Greek architecture and is guarded by guardian angels, which is biblical.
yeah.
Which
Now
doesn't make sense at
let's
all.
get into the since this is mythological stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the second fight, the human character. Should we tell everyone who that
Ah.
is? Okay, let's do it. It was Adam, the first human. Why is
And my expectation exactly. Sorry, Amar, I'm cutting you. But my expectation was okay. I haven't seen or read the manga, so I was like, okay, if it's Adam, so probably you'll get a bearded guy, really strong, really tall.
you get a
But
blondie
then
with blue eyes?
you get somebody who looks like they are straight out of Oran High School anime host club, whatever that was.
Tamaki.
Straight out of the locker room. You see those abs, by the way? Remember the abs?
Exactly,
I
exactly.
just wanna say, not to get everyone off, he did have the most realistic number of abs as compared to all the other characters.
Yeah, that's because he
He
was
had
shorter in
eight.
height. That's because he was shorter in height. If he
There's
was a
no
Oh,
bit taller,
space.
they will go more.
oh my god.
But yeah, we'll start off with the first fight: Thor versus
Yeah.
Lobu.
Yeah.
So,
Four and a half episodes, I swear to God.
Oof. 4.5
It
episodes.
felt it
God.
felt
Oh.
Too
it felt
long.
like a match in Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all
Exactly.
Dragon Ball fans.
No,
No,
exactly.
don't.
Oh
It's just
no.
That's what we hate about shows that drag a single fight this long.
It was literally
Specific,
4 or 5 blows, by
specifically
the way.
looking at
Four or
you,
five
One Piece.
blows.
I
Ah, come
they
on. No, 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 no. Don't do that to One Piece, man. Come
10
on.
episodes, one fight.
I mean,
how
the fights are reasonable. Hey, I could actually debate you on that one. The
they
I
fights
mean,
are
I
reasonable
mean,
at
there.
the end of at the end of each fight they even show the total time duration. Like I don't remember the Thor versus Lubu fight time.
4 minutes,
Yeah, 4 minutes. Like
something like that.
The Zeus
Four
versus Adam.
episodes.
Yeah, the Zeus versus Adam episode was I think around 7 minutes or something, like seven and a
Six,
half minutes.
seven,
Yeah,
six,
six,
Seven
7 minutes.
minutes.
Yes.
yeah.
I think the longest was Sasaki Kojiro versus Poseidon. That went on for 11 minutes, I think. Yeah, I think so. But we'll come
we'll
back to
get
that
there.
later.
We'll get there.
So Thor
I'm just gonna,
versus
yeah.
yeah,
Poseidon
Thor
was basically,
versus
Lubu.
sorry.
yeah.
So Thor versus Lobu. So make me understand. Okay, I really liked what they did with Mjolnir. I was okay with it. I'm like, okay, that's a good concept. But does Thor need a whole runaway to swing that hammer?
Yeah.
He throws that hammer, the hammer comes back to him, and he has to use that momentum to swing and do an attack called Thor's hammer. Do you see the ridiculousness in this?
Now here's the thing. Okay, we are basically used to
You,
we're used to the MCU Thor like spinning it around and gaining momentum.
so like that's a
This one
very
is too big to do that.
so
Oh
that
yeah,
there is a very anime thing to do.
yeah.
It's just there are two things that are ridiculous like that in a lot of animes. I kind of don't mind that. It's fine. But most of the main things about that fight that I didn't like was one, the concept of Thor being changed from, the more Nordic version to this. Is
like a love
Hammer
child, like a love child of Sephiroth and
the
Kushina.
worst thing which was is like when they went completely out of the box and they were I was like I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Is
Was
that
when
the
Thor's hammer starts a heartbeat
heartbeat? Yes. Oh my,
and
like what? And then there was no explanation given, like a very short thing, like
yeah,
okay, it's something.
you're finally awake. Oh, you've been asleep for all this time. Nobody else knew that you were awake except for Odin, of course, because he's supposed to know everything. He's the All Father. Oh
Yeah,
my god. So yeah, apart from that, everything in that fight was okay. I think Lubu's motivations were explained well. I wish they would like develop their characters first and then make them fight instead of interrupting the fight in between and then making them fight like that.
yeah,
Um, we have about a total of 2 to 3 interruptions every fight, and the amount of content that they show, they can literally make an episode with that. You
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why not just show that backstory in one episode? Show Lubu's entire backstory, and just come back to the fight right before the end of the episode and show, oh, this is why this guy is fighting for humanity because he wants to prove he is the strongest. Blah 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 blah. That would
Also,
have been more easy to watch. Yes.
Yeah,
technically, they don't even show that why these people are fighting for humanity. They're just showing their backstories, their lives, and how they became
Their
the warriors
primary
they are.
their primary motivations, it's not like they've been
Hmm.
asked. I don't know if they've been asked if they want to fight. The Valkyrie is just choosing the best of the best
Hmm.
humans across all historical timelines, so
Hmm.
that's the reason. But my point is the fights were all right.
Hmm.
It's just that do not
they were
interrupt the
dragged.
fight. Yeah, they were dragged because of those fillers. Why not just take the fillers, make a separate episode? At the start of the fight, you introduce the characters and then you show off a little bit
Have
of fighting.
yeah,
End the episode over there. And then you have this filler episode, an entire episode, where you can show the backstory of that character so that we can at least get attached to them and
yeah,
know what they're about, including the Thor part as well. Like they could have made episodes in between of that, and then go back to the fight and show us all of the fight in one go instead of it being interrupted in the middle. I don't mind the fight being over 4 episodes because the reason it was over 4 episodes was there was these interruptions in between. Why not just take the interruptions, make them separate instead of throwing them in there?
yeah. And also another thing that I noticed, like, there's one point I would like to add here is that their motivations were somewhat shown there. For example, for Lubu, he was always battle hungry. He wanted that one perfect opponent, and in Thor, he saw that because Thor was immediately like, yeah, when Lubu is defeated, so his whole army starts charging Thor, and Thor is like, yeah, for my friend Lubu. And Zeus, sorry, Hermes, remarks that Thor has never treated anybody like that.
Did he
So
actually
to do
say
that,
friend? Did he actually
Yes,
yeah,
say friend?
yeah, he did.
yes.
In the subtitles, in the
In the
sub version, he
subtitles,
did say.
is yeah.
Oh. Okay, I
Yeah,
watched it
so
without
he
subtitles.
annihilates the entire army and goes like, "Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
friend. Cool,
Yeah.
good enough for you." But you kind of took his head off. So there's that.
Yeah.
But okay, fine. They're your friends. No judgment. But I think the motivations were clear in the sense, like in the second fight that we're just going to discuss in a minute, that each of them had their individual motivations set there. It's not exactly for humanity, but it's kind of like the for humanity is like a secondary object. Their primary object is their personal
Personal
one.
gain, yes.
Yeah.
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 So we're going to talk about the second fight. Mubarak, Zeus versus Adam. What are your thoughts?
Ew.
I was like, what is going on? And why does Zeus keep transforming? Why does he's like Super Saiyan. He has like Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. I don't know. It's like, why?
It
And
kind of felt like Bleach, didn't it? Like Shikai and Bankai.
I have sadly not seen Bleach. Maybe I'm saved that way.
Asad,
Where
you,
is
you of all
Zeus's
people should
lightning?
not be insulting Bleach like this, Asad.
Yeah, but that's fair too. That's fair too.
I think like what Mubarak wants to say, Shiva had the same point. Why is Zeus going in the second fight?
Because Adam.
Even he was like, "Why are you going?" He's like, I'm next.
It was uncomfortable to watch, especially in the start when Sebastian is. Oh, sorry, no, it Hermes. when
Oh my dear, I'm getting misplaced here.
no, he was like the love child of Sebastian and Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, it looked like that.
No, but that was uncomfortable to watch the whole violin activation chord thing,
Yeah, what was that for?
and Mozart and Bach in the audience
Just to add
going,
to the
"It's
time of the
beautiful."
episode.
It didn't make sense. Also, I understand where creative liberty comes in. You take artistic licenses and all that. But where is Zeus's lightning? The one thing he's iconic for.
Like
Yeah,
agreed.
The one thing, man.
Did Thor
I
get
was
your
like, oh,
thunder? You can't
finally
use it now.
Zeus is turning into his ultimate form.
hold on.
His
Speaking
arms start heating up.
speaking of which, even Thor didn't use any lightning or anything. Just saying,
He did,
His
but it was
hammer
only for
kind of
effect.
electric charged.
Yeah,
Some
not
but
as an attack.
exactly. So, maybe we're spoiled by the MCU that way. So, when it came to this, I was like, okay, fine, no lightning, no thunder, it's all right. But Zeus,
Zeus,
it's
Thor,
iconic.
the
god
god
of
of
lightning.
blacksmithing and lightning. Zeus, the king of Olympus, king of all the gods, and the god of lightning and the sky.
Exactly.
It
I
wasn't
mean, did
It's
Kronos
not.
die for nothing
It's
then?
not the MCU. That's their concept.
no. Don't get me wrong, but we've seen these guys in the MCU a little too heavily. That's why that's like our primary
That's
influence.
We haven't seen Zeus though, but we still know about Zeus's powers. Like, hello,
Zeus. When
Hercules
I when
Hercules.
I
and
played Age of
mythology.
Myth when
Yes,
I played Age of Mythology, when you played as the god Zeus, worshipping him, you get superpowers which are lightning.
yeah,
Like I
and
agree with you. This is a
like
major point. Zeus
like
is
actual mythology, Disney's Hercules, Age of Mythology, and then even God of War series. Like what?
Hades.
Hey,
Hades
he
has.
is he is
hey,
the god of lightning
Hades
and the
isn't in
sky.
this.
They
So
don't show
like
Hades. They show this 13th god,
Yeah, they did.
But that's
Adamus.
Adamus.
We have Zeus and
Adamus,
Poseidon,
hold up.
Adam, and yeah, they invented a 13th, a fourth brother. But where is Hades?
Actually,
Come
they don't
on.
even call him the
Please
fourth
don't
brother.
please
He's
don't
just a brother.
he's just a brother. He's the oldest brother,
No,
which makes
yeah,
no sense to me.
yeah, yeah.
Um
But yeah,
Zeus
Samin,
is
what about you? What about you? Like, what was the one moment in that fight that perplexed you, and one moment that actually sort of gave you like, you know what, this actually is a good fight.
That loaded question, by the way, because Asad has a lot of good things to say about this fight. You could
Oh,
see it on his face.
the
I
thing is, I
no,
did enjoy this fight. I did enjoy this fight.
Okay, Samin, take
In
it
one
away.
no,
sense,
no,
No?
no,
No?
okay. So the things that I enjoyed
no.
in this fight was number one, Adam's motivation, because Adam
Which
comes
came
and
in the
says,
end. Which came
which
in
came in
the
the
end.
end, but it was still iconic. And he was like, I need to protect my children, and that actually strikes a chord within you. You're like, you know
yeah.
what, this is actually, you know, Adam would do that because
Mm.
technically, end of the day, we're all descended from him, and if a certain situation calls upon it, Adam would actually do that for us. So for the whole crowd to move the way it did, again, for a character who looks like he came out of foreign high school, I was okay with it. I was moved. Eve, somebody explained it to me. Why does Eve look like an underage child who was thrown out of her inheritance and now has to live off in the jungle? And then Adam suddenly finds her and he goes like, "Yeah, we're a couple now." And what's even more is fine. You don't even mention Satan, by the way, the snake. He's just a serpent. The serpent. That's what they're
The
calling it.
serpent,
They're
yeah.
going more biblical with
What?
this. That's
No, that's
why.
the point, because that serpent was supposed to be Lucifer. Serpent was supposed to
Mm,
be Lucifer Morningstar in the Bible,
mm.
Iblis in the Quran, and there are so many interpretations, but it's the same dude, the devil.
Yeah.
What is exactly is your problem in calling him the devil? But no, it's a serpent.
Like
Oh,
we have biblical angels guarding Asgard, but
Yeah, I threw up
Right.
hands and that. I was like, Are they the Valkyries that they're referring to?" But no,
No,
those are the
but
guardian angels. Those are just peasant with
there were
wings.
males. Yeah, there were males in that. Valkyries are all female.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was really impressed with was Zeus's power.
But
In the first fight as well. Sorry, I'm saying Zeus's power, Adam's power. In this particular, the way they explained it, it made perfect sense to me
it.
because technically, Adam, as
Mm,
the first human, his
mm,
primary trait was like how he learned all of that, all of the things when he was sent to Earth, and how he learned how to make fire, how he learned how to hunt and everything. So that learning aspect, of course, you crank that up all the way to level 9,000, and he's observing everything in real time, and at 0.00001 second his response time is still there. So that made sense. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm not gonna take that away. But to give Zeus a plus 12 plot armor proficiency bonus, I I was just like, dude, Zeus is an old guy who suddenly went all Shikai, and it was certainly as if he pulled an All Might, went all up high and mighty, got
Also
his
retracted his beard inwards. Only the mustache
exactly.
was left.
Only the mustache was less. Then he goes into a Bankai form, which has him looking like an anorexic person right out of I don't know where. And then he proceeds to beat the shit out of Adam. And then, of course, Adam,
Dies standing.
dies standing. It was like literally a white beard move that he pulled. I was impressed with that. But why give Zeus that much of a plot armor? Please sit me down like I'm 3 years old and spoon feed me exactly why does Zeus have this plot armor? Because I am raging right now. This isn't
Because
even review. This is a rant now.
he is the king of the gods, and basically,
And yet, the place where all the gods live is called Asgard, not
see,
Olympus.
here's the thing. Zeus is basically, when the show starts, you see Zeus carrying forward this motion that we're gonna
Yeah,
execute the humans. All right, he is basically baddie number one. Basically,
okay.
that's the reason he can die. Which brings me back to the point, which is, why did you put him in the second fight?
my point.
You even go as far that in the show, the second fight is gonna be Shiva, who is like, I mean, he's just a dude sitting there. Oh, humans are shit. Blah 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 blah. It
Which
it
kind of
was
is the reason
obvious.
why there was a controversy. By the way, I just remembered Amir with your point. We're just going to digress a bit, but
Yeah, yeah.
that was the point where because the major thing wasn't like his portrayal per se. It was more like Shiva. From what I understood from the articles, Shiva actually loves humans and has in their sagas has sacrificed himself for the humans. So for him to treat humans like shit is kind of like going against the narrative.
His
So
okay.
that's the thing that they were
Ah,
objecting on. They weren't the objections weren't. There were some people, of course, they were objecting like, why is he like a dude with so much so? But the major thing was like he wouldn't hate humans per
Mm,
se.
no,
okay.
all right.
So
I get that point. That's actually a good point to answer that. Why Shiva was not liked by the Indian peoples. My point is, I'm talking to him as a character. You
Mm,
have
mhm.
a character that you show going in, and then in your show, you pull that character back so that you can pull this other one in who has so much plot armor. Why not just let Shiva do the fight against Adam?
who?
Um,
By the way, Zeus was supposed to be the last fighter, and they say this.
hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Maybe he's, I don't
it's
know. Basically,
basically
it's
like you in the show
the
you show it yourself, sort of.
yeah, it's like
That,
the king of the gods versus the first humans. I guess Zeus just wanted drama.
I mean, it's not the first time
I mean, he
he
is an
was
old
wanted
man
drama.
whose tongue is shaped like a heart, but okay.
One
Yeah.
thing I have to admit that I thought his final form was going to be a swan of some sort. That was genuine. No, that was genuinely what
Oh,
I
no,
was
no, no, no.
expecting.
That's genuine. That's genuine.
I really did
That's
think that.
genuine.
Yes.
Especially when he compressed, I'm like, okay, swan form. It's going to be something. It's going to be a classical throwback. But no, that was
No.
that was a
He,
disappointment.
he
I
just
really.
he just he just basically turns himself into Luffy from One Piece. Basically, Luffy, what he does is he heats
Yeah.
himself up so much that his body his
Just
blood
start
heat
the
starts
gear
boiling.
second.
He starts seeming, yeah, like gear second and gear third, gear fourth. He heats up his own body so that he can move faster and stuff. This is
Yeah.
basically what Zeus is doing in the entire show. No lightning, no nothing. Zeus is just an old wrinkly dude who goes out and contorts himself in ways that are unimaginable to just become this
I
steam
mean,
machine, which you
I
can.
mean, to Zeus's credit, Amir, to Zeus's credit, he has had an experience with different positions.
Hey,
Hey.
we,
But now,
to be honest, we
uh,
should just rename this fight Luffy versus Saitama because that's basically what it was.
that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Exactly. But coming to the third fight, which was probably the season's most, I would say, accurate in the sense, in terms of historical setting, of course,
Yeah.
and as well as, in terms of the fight scene as well. Sasaki Kojiro versus Poseidon, which I think was the
Poseidon,
best fight.
Poseidon, aka Adam 2.0, because
Adam 2.0.
they look
Exactly.
very
Exactly.
similar.
They look so similar. I was like, wait a second, that's Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
With the
And,
no.
rotten attitude. With the rotten attitude this time.
They could have
yeah.
made him look a little more piratey, something from the sea, like, give him a theme. Instead, they're like, nope, we're just using
Instead,
that
we're
character
just going to use
and
this
we're going to
one.
make him blue. We're going to give him a blue shirt. That's it. That's his
I was
only
like,
link.
blue. Oh my God. That's so creative,
I'm
right?
blue,
Fucking
Dabati.
genius.
I have
You
one gripe with this.
Yeah.
Why have him surrounded by water when he's not going to use any of that water? No water bending, none of that. Like, what's the point of Poseidon? What is going on? He
they
is
changed,
just
they remodeled the entire arena, and then they never used the water.
exactly like why? Why not just keep it
The
flat if you're not going to use the water?
the water was just there for metaphor and just for them to just
Aesthetics.
hide. No,
Aesthetics.
it was just for them to moisturize, just saying, because it's the sun, they're kind of at a hide. Moisturization is, essential,
Or
people. That's
maybe
a
they
public
just
service
wanted to
message.
show that Poseidon is the god of the sea, so that he can make an entrance by parting the sea and walking through
Yeah,
it.
that was like a Moses move. Moses must have been
That's the
like,
only reason the water
hey.
was there, Mubarak.
Yeah.
And oh no, the water was there for one more reason. The samurai dude who kept drowning in it. It's like they just keep
It was
showing.
metaphorical.
Yeah,
It
It was
but then
was,
metaphorical.
yeah.
what if there wasn't water? Would he still have been drowning in that, or would it
I
have been
mean,
said
it's an
like
anime.
Basically, what
I'm
they
buried
showed
alive?
was he was drowning in the enemy's attacks, and then
Exactly.
they showed it as if it was water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but the thing that they did with Sasaki Kojiro by keeping his history, like, he was actually known as the greatest loser loser not in a derogatory sort of way. He would lose to an opponent, and then in his mind he would fight them over and over and over again until he
wait, how
perfected that. Of course, they
how do
wouldn't
we
he
know
wouldn't
that?
face them again.
How would we
In
know
the
that?
That's the thing, because again we just have historical records
No, no,
and
but
his own saying.
who? Okay, I'm going to talk about the historians over here. Which historian went into his head and noted that, yep, this is exactly what this guy does. He just fights them in his head.
And that's the best part, because we just have to believe it. If somebody wrote it in, I don't know, 15th or 14th century, we just have to take the guy's word. There is no references, no MLA
You
format, no
do know,
Harvard.
you do know that almost all the characters over here are taken in from romanticized stories.
Yeah.
True, true,
All
but
right, so like,
While they are true, but
I
their
mean,
stories are a bit
you have this
exaggerated.
character, who presumably did this. We don't even know if that character was real.
fair.
Do we?
Ooh,
You just have an account, or maybe one or two, three accounts, five accounts. I don't know. I didn't read much about this, but
Like I think even in the show they point out that his fight with that one, that other
Musashi.
warrior, Musashi, the warrior with the sun.
the
Yeah,
X.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Musashi, that's
one.
the name.
Like,
Miyamoto Musashi, yes.
the written
Musashi or
account.
Musashi,
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
The written account of their fight was also written, I don't know how many, like
300 years.
300 years
I
later.
I I actually did not do my a little bit of research on this. I wanted to check because Musashi's. I've done a bit of research on Musashi. He has done
Yeah,
a
you would
bunch of
know.
fights, and they did actually reference one over here. But Musashi kills that guy in the story.
Yeah,
I
Sasaki
don't
Kojiro
know.
dies.
Yeah.
Sasaki Kojiro dies in
Is
that
this the
one.
guy who used the long sword and Musashi went to him
No, but here's
on a
the thing.
boat and he arrived late?
And he
Yeah,
made
it's
the
the same
token out
person.
of that.
Oh, this was him. All right, all right.
It
So
was the same person.
so you know the story, right? Like Musashi kills him over there. What he did was Musashi made him wait for, like, I'm assuming 4 hours. They were supposed to meet at 9 in the morning on this island. He wakes up really late, go has a very hearty breakfast, goes over there, and by that time that guy had been waiting in the sun, and he was pissed. So he charges Musashi, and this is that famous story about Musashi not using his swords, but instead he used a boat oar to kill that guy. He
Oh, okay.
he Kojiro, if I think that this was him, he was famous for fighting with a sword which was very long, and now I understand why he has a very long, almost Nodachi-esque sword in the anime. He was known to fight with a very long sword, and
Yeah.
in order to counter that, what Musashi did was while he was going there, he took one of the oars in the boat and he started working it
Carving it.
on one, carving it. He bashed some nails in there, made like a club,
A
and
nail
the way
pad.
he made it, a nail bed, but it had nails on its tip, and
Okay.
it was about, here's the legendary part. All of this is just story. It was just 4 inches longer than a Nodachi sword, which is used by Kojiro. So when they
Mm-hmm.
meet in battle, it's said that Kojiro just loses his mind, charges towards him. He's like, I'm going to kill this guy for making me wait so long. And Musashi also charges. They both take one swing. Kojiro just barely cuts Musashi's forehead over here, while as Musashi's boat orb was a little bit longer. He smacks Kojiro in the face. He falls down, and then Musashi just goes all out. Um,
Batshit
what's her
crazy.
name? What's her name? Harley Quinn on the guy. Starts bashing his skull in, and he is famous for doing that. That is how he won his first fight, and this is how he won one of his most famous fights by just
Mhm.
putting the guy on the floor and then bashing his head in. This was the greatest samurai who ever lived.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
they
And so
kind
they
of,
sort of changed it in the
yeah,
anime, of
thank you,
course.
Kuro. So they cherry picked this entire legend
Mm.
for parts, and then they made Kojiro this most greatest samurai because apparently he lost to everyone. He especially lost to Musashi over there. He did lose to Musashi in the anime.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just,
he
Yeah,
oh
did.
yeah,
He did.
I
He
forgot.
died in front of
he did.
Musashi
He
actually.
died.
That's why Musashi was respecting
They
him.
actually did show it accurately then, but like
But
this
Yeah.
is how it happened,
here's the
and
thing. If he died against Musashi as a young man, how come he's showing up in this afterlife battle royale as an old man?
Because he explains it like, he
because
has been
apparently he has still been training. Even
yeah.
after he died, he started playing the fight over and over in his head,
But
which I
but
want
his
to be
physical
honest.
body would have died young.
I want to be honest. Even I don't understand how that works. See, realistically, you cannot just win a fight inside your head. You have to practically be in a fight. This is how you, if you
You
are
can
training.
simulate it. You can simulate it, but again, that's all theory. I
That's
mean,
all
practically
theory.
the
Like here's the thing. I follow a bunch of YouTube channels which talk about, HEMA, which is historical European martial arts. Sword fighting and all of that is included in HEMA as well. Kenjutsu and everything, and they all agree on one thing: you cannot become a better swordsman or a better fighter or a better any physical martial arts thing without fighting an opponent. All right, without realistically dueling an opponent or being in battle, because that is what teaches you. You need to learn. There are a lot of techniques that are going to be formed in your head. You can only know which ones are actually good and will work when you actually apply them. This is a more of a applied science of study.
Experience.
Yes, it's an applied science. There are a lot of techniques that you can brainstorm, but they won't work. Heck, there are some lots of fanciful moves. People say I will spin around, I will do a jump attack, but like
they're
that's all
all
fine.
very, very
It's basically that you can't just train your brain; you have to train your
But
body
but
too,
see,
like
the thing
muscle
is,
memory
like,
and all.
Yeah.
exactly, this thing in the anime with Kojiro, it is completely fantasy. This is the
but it
100%
works.
fantasy. It
But
doesn't.
it works.
Mm.
No, for me it
For in
did.
the
Did. I
anime
was like,
it
okay,
does. In
in
the
the
anime
anime it
it
does.
does because it's an
Realistically, of
anime.
course not.
This is I just want to explain that this is the liberty that they took. That they
Yeah,
showed that apparently
of
this
course.
thing works. You can just sit down, meditate really hard, and apparently you will get better at it. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to work. You need to hustle up, man.
You need to hustle up, exactly. But yeah, actually, to be honest, the reason why I love that fight was because for me, that whole mind palace and simulation thing that worked. I was like, okay, you know what? If somebody with as much speed as Poseidon is going to go up against a person like Sasaki Kojiro, that's a fair fight. That's a fair fight because Sasaki Kojiro learns as the second passes. He
Yeah.
simulates the fight. For Poseidon, he's just a heartless guy who's just relying too much on his pride
Godly
plus his
on
own
godly powers. That's it. He
on his
keeps
godly powers.
Yeah.
referencing that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So of course that's his demise. But I think if you look at all the three fights, the first one is just a literal one-sided fight because Thor literally hands Lubu everything that he has gotten. The second fight, of course, it's a very very close call, but with Zeus having +100, that just goes out of that just goes out of the window. Then the third one, of course, you give humanity that one win. So I'm okay with that transition. Like first hopelessness, close shave, hope. So kind of like you're going there. But
Hmm.
the fourth fight, which I would have really liked to see, Jack the Ripper versus Hercules.
Hercules.
It it is interesting, and they gave us a preview of that, but then that's where the season ends, and I feel that they wasted this
Yeah.
the 12 episodes, was
Yeah.
it?
12, 12,
Yeah, 12
12.
episodes. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
12
Yeah,
episodes actually. Wow.
they could have given us more fights. you know
No,
I
they
mean,
gave
more
Thor
fights have
four.
happened.
They gave Thor 4 episodes.
Yeah.
one thing interesting is, why did they choose Jack the Ripper, and why does he have a Guy Fawkes mask?
Yeah.
No, because when he comes in, it's like you think he's V from Vendetta, and you're just like, okay, it's the V mask, Guy Fawkes, and then he's like, no, it's Jack the Ripper, and I'm like, no, that's
You
not
wanna know
that's
when they were showing off that list of all the fighters, I
Oh,
actually read and it said Jack the Ripper. I'm like, oh no, London, this is Jack the Ripper. And I'm just sitting there, I'm looking at this character who so does not look like. Heck, even the police officers who had died and all their souls are in heaven now,
Mm,
back from whatever century Britain that was, even they're
yeah.
sitting like, oh, that was the Jack the Ripper? Seriously?
Oh my
Even the
god.
detectives of the Interpol, they were all, freaked out. Okay.
yeah.
and speaking of all the other contestants that we have yet to see, like I have a list here of the other human contestants, like Leonidas,
Makes sense.
understandable. Uh,
Makes
Okay.
Nikola
sense.
Nikola Tesla.
Exactly.
The death ray gun is coming, people. The death ray gun is coming.
Tesla
Tesla is
would
Yeah.
gonna
actually
go.
be a
I
good fighter.
I
And
swear,
then, yeah.
if Edison shows up apart from Tesla, I will
No,
be
Edison
mad.
isn't there. Edison
Edison
isn't there.
Edison might show up in the crowd, in the audience.
You
Oh
know
my
what?
Yeah.
god!
What would be crazy is if Tesla is gonna come in, intending to fight, and Edison's like, "No, I'm here to steal." Like the Zeus and Shiva thing. They have like, "I'm here to steal your place."
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Oh
Okay.
my
That's
god.
exactly.
Now, Rasputin.
Rasputin is
Fair
there.
choice. Fair choice. That is a good
If
choice.
they don't play that music, I am canceling the entire anime. If they don't play that music, I'm canceling the entire anime.
And then
Okay.
Nostradamus.
Which is a very peculiar one because Nostradamus is like, very weak
He's,
guy.
but
But
he's
what's
gonna
he
be
gonna do?
basically,
Predict his opponent to death?
yeah, like basically Adam and the samurai guy combined. He's gonna like, yeah, I predicted that happening. I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna predicted that happening. I'm gonna move here. It's just
And then we have a few names that I don't recognize. Maybe Mubarak and Amir might recognize. We have Sakata no Kentucky.
That's
yeah, he's my second
Japanese.
cousin. That's how I recognized him.
Sure.
Like,
And then we have Simo Heiha.
Simo
No
Haya?
idea.
Heiha. I don't know. It's spelled like that.
Look at that.
Why? Okay,
Who's that?
just to
Explain it to
I
us.
don't know.
just to
Explain it
tell
to
you.
us, Abhay.
Yes.
So
yes.
let me tell you who Simo Haya was. He is the greatest sniper who ever lived. He is
Okay.
credited with getting the most sniper kills ever.
Mhm.
During the Finnish Winter War,
This is White
Oh,
Death,
okay.
yes?
yes, the White Death they called him because this guy was as hardcore as he would stuff his mouth with snow so that when he breathes, there is no, that steam
Steam.
breath coming out. He would literally he was fighting against the Russians, all right, because the Russians fought against the Finnish during World War II era, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, the Russians gave him that name. Why, dude? They bombed the entire forest. They sent literal, like, a lot of bombers just flatten out everything, just to kill this one guy. In the end, he did get shot by one bullet on his neck, and
Okay.
but he survived. And later on, he recovered and he lived past the war as well, up to old age.
Okay.
But this guy
Oh,
is
okay.
credited with having 338 kills, something like that.
Oh, wow.
That is the highest record held all over the world. The weapon he used was just your basic old Mosin Nagant rifle, which is a bolt action rifle. He didn't even have a scope because the sun can reflect off the scope and give away your position. And the
Hmm.
scope can also give issues in the cold weather. He used basic iron sights and he hunted the people, like the Russian soldiers, and they
So
gave him this name.
so
So
this
yeah,
was the very first no scoper from Call of Duty.
no, there were plenty of no scopers, dude. Like,
360 no scope, yo.
you should remember that the scope is invented way after the rifle is invented. So like, no, not really. He is probably the greatest no scoper. I am trying to see who is Sakata no Kentucky, but like,
Okay. Now the
So, what
other
other names are
other
there?
uh
okay, more names.
Kenshi Hong. And
Kenshi
Kenshi
Han?
Hong.
I don't
and
know.
Huang. It's basically Jinshi Huang. Okay, moving
Jinshi
on.
Huang, the
Yeah.
emperor.
Oh, okay. And then we
Okay.
have Soji Okita
I think that's
and
a Japanese folklore
hmm,
hero. I'm not sure. I've heard of
and
this. I've heard this name. I think it's
we
a
have
folklore.
the last one is Raiden Tamimon.
Raiden Tamimon.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. That's
Isn't the
But see,
list
but see,
longer
this is
than
what I'm
this
getting
though?
at. This is what I'm getting at. The concept is just so good. Like, you have actual people from history
Okay, Raiden Tamimon
versus.
was a Japanese sumo wrestler.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they have a lot of variety of content. To be honest,
Yeah.
I like the ridiculousness of where these characters are coming from. Now I'm
Mhm.
excited to see Simo Haya. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name. Like, it's Hah and then there's a Y with two dots on it. I don't know how
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
pronounce that properly.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I know the guy. I know that name, and I'm
Hmm.
excited what they will do and which god will go up against. I swear, if Zeus walks up behind and he's like, "I want to go," I will be
No,
so
but Zeus
mad.
is gone already. I don't think they'll let him in again.
No, you
Yeah,
didn't. You
probably.
remember the finale? Zeus is like, "Oh, we Greeks have some payback to do, so he'll be back. Don't worry."
No,
Plus,
Yeah,
he's
the,
injured.
definitely.
who did they put up against Jack the Ripper? It was Ares, right?
Hercules.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. For I just opened up the guards team, and we do have Anubis later
Hmm.
on. Okay. So
Finally, the first
I,
Egyptian god.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna read out the list quickly. Starting from the ones we've already gone through. So we have Zeus, Thor,
Okay.
and
Poseidon.
the third was Poseidon. Yeah. So after that we have Buddha, Loki, Apollo, Susano no Mikoto.
Oh, okay.
Japanese.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Bishamonten and Anubis, Odin, Beelzebub, and Shiva.
Beelzebub is there too.
Yeah.
Imagine if Rasputin goes up against Beelzebub. You will have
Musical.
Rasputin. You will have a musical war.
Yeah.
Rasputin and then Queen.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll just take 2 minutes here because we've gone way above in our rants. But we'll take 2 minutes here just to I want to do this fun thing.
Mhm.
What would your record of Ragnarok matchup be? Like one god versus one human based on your preferences or choices or something.
Who is winning?
So again, no wins, no nothing. Just as a discussion,
Just
like,
a
hey,
matchup.
that would be cool. Just a
Okay.
matchup. So Mubarak, go first.
No, no, I'll go last and let me think about this. You go
Okay.
first.
I would really like to see. Now, this would be interesting because I want to see this as a debate battle. So Thoth, who is the god of literature in Egyptian mythology,
Thought, huh?
versus
Yeah.
Thoth
Thought.
versus Socrates. I would like
Oh.
to see their debate go down.
Oh, actually, that's
I
a
would
very good
really
one.
like. I would really
That's a
like to
very
see their
good point.
debate go down. Like, this is no fight to the death. This is just a simple debate, one on one, go all out. Samin, what about you?
I can't think of anything at the
This is a
moment.
really difficult question for all of us. It's like
Yeah,
we're
in
not.
the
Yeah,
span of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, Samin is
She's out.
lagging.
Yeah, we might actually have to cut this question because
Yeah, no,
I
no, it
really
takes
cannot
time.
think of I really cannot think of
Okay.
anyone.
Okay.
Okay, now
Yeah.
you're
And
good.
she's
So
back.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
back.
yeah. So on the fly, it's kind of difficult to think of
Mm.
something like this.
No, no, I agree. I agree. Because when you were talking, I was just like, huh, that would be interesting to see.
I'm
Thoth
I'm
versus
trying to see
Socrates.
which god would be a good matchup against Joseph Stalin, but I can't think of anyone.
Um, Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
I would
Um,
actually put him up against Lucifer.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like, that's so
not,
obvious, if you know what I
Mm.
mean.
yeah.
That's obvious, yes. But Lucifer Morningstar would be interesting.
Mm.
Like, just imagine the Lucifer Morningstar from the show walks in.
No,
Oh
but
They just
my.
based
Then
on
I,
how they
they
do it,
announced
yeah.
they
then I
announced
would
Lucifer
like
Morningstar,
Constantine.
but then Tom
then,
Ellis just walks in.
then I would like Constantine as his opponent.
Isn't he fictional though, Constantine?
Yes.
Constantine is fictional.
Yeah,
That's
so
that.
we have him? Can we
No, I
let's just
don't.
No, hang on. Are you talking about Constantine as the actual historical figure? Because there is
no,
There
no,
Constantine
no.
is
We're
is
talking about John
M.
Constantine, DC
John Constantine
Comics.
from DC.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Fantasy lineup.
no, I
Mm.
Yeah,
doubt that there's gonna be a
Huh.
Superman in this, people.
I
Or a
highly doubt it
Batman.
as well. But we'll wrap it
Superman
up
versus which god?
here.
Asad, Superman versus
Uh,
which god? Your
Or
matchup.
Good question.
Oh
Zeus.
no,
Good
we need
question.
a we
No,
need
no,
a
not
strong
Zeus.
one.
Not Zeus. I wouldn't put him up against Zeus. I would actually put him up against Ra, the Egyptian god Ra. And that
Hmm.
Wait,
would be because Ra is also powered by the sun. And we
yeah, I
see
was
that.
going to say that. Isn't that going to,
Exactly. He's powered
amplify?
by the sun.
He's
And
powered by the
Superman,
sun, or he
No,
is the sun.
he basically is the sun in
yeah.
that sense.
So the only way for Ra to defeat Superman would
Is
be
Is
to
to
to turn
kill
himself
himself.
red.
yes.
No, no, no. He turned himself red. The red sun actually takes away Superman's power. So
Okay.
There you go. That's fine.
So
Done.
we're gonna wrap it up with our scores here. We're just gonna give individual scores on Record of Ragnarok. So Mubarak, what's your score?
5. Straight
5.
up.
Decent enough. Samin,
I might give it a 4. Like this story wise, it was kind of weak because of all the flashbacks and them taking too long. Because we've got like 13 fights, and so far we've only got like 3
3.
and the starting of the fourth. So I would give it a 4 just because of the story. I don't know why everyone is mostly concerned about the animation being weak because obviously we can't get every studio to give us Castlevania quality animation.
oh yeah, that's true.
It's different
That's
for
true.
everyone.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, most of the arguments I've seen against the show is
Yeah.
because of the quality of the animation. But
Hmm.
for me, story is weak.
That is not a good
Yeah,
point
that's not a
to
good
go on.
complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would give it a 4.
And Amir, what about you?
I'm on a 5. This is a 5 out of 10. The story is, as Samin said, that's exactly my point on the story. The anime has interesting concepts, and if you are a experienced weeboo, then you can watch this when you have nothing else to watch.
Ah, yeah.
Otherwise, if you are someone who does not watch anime, just go watch something else.
But I
Yeah.
guess on the
Go watch
point
the
of
Fate series.
yeah on the point of the
Yeah.
story, I guess we could also blame the manga because they are following the manga, so the story
No,
is
but apparently
weak
the
from
manga is
there.
good. The manga is good.
That's
From what
that's
I
what I'm
have,
confused about. Like, what have they done in the animation then in
because
the
in the manga
adaptation?
there are not as many flashbacks.
Yeah,
If there's a flashback, it's just explained in one panel. For them
yeah,
to explain the flashback, they have to animate the whole thing. So
yeah.
maybe that's why it feels
Obviously.
a bit dragged.
Hmm.
But my score is also somewhere about 4.5 to 5. I think I'll stick to a 5 out of 10 because, again, I really did enjoy the concept. I really did enjoy the last fight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I really think that they can do a lot with this particular concept. And to what they do need is just to keep their historical research intact because that's when people will actually love it.
Also, I feel that 13 fights might be too much. having seven, a holy number in a lot of religions. We have
But then,
seven
Yeah.
fights that would have made much more sense.
but then
13 is
again,
like the unlucky number. Yeah, go
yeah,
on.
13 is an unlucky number. So
I think
whichever side loses, it's unlucky for them.
they did it because there's 13 Valkyries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Could they
so
not have made
th-
seven Valkyries?
I mean,
I
they did
don't
make
know.
one more.
Kuro, please get out in front of the camera. I can't see the others.
The screen went Kuro.
It- so yeah, what was I gonna say? I forgot. Anyways,
'That's all
13,
right.
13
But
Valkyries.
anyways, 13
there's
Valkyries. Yeah.
13 there's 13 Valkyries. So like the Valkyries are turning themselves into weapons for them. So I think maybe that's why they chose the number 13.
I don't
But there are
know.
13 Valkyries though, like in
But
And
this.
here's, but I don't know. Maybe it's in the rules according to their Ragnarok constitution that
Which
they
doesn't
have to
make
be
sense.
13
Constitution,
matches.
that's the thing that gets me
Which
on.
doesn't make sense.
Like
Why would you name your
one
constitution
one last
after the
thing I
one
wanna
thing?
one last thing I just want to say about this is like I mean, it's great that they're following the manga, but let me be real. The Lord of the Rings movies didn't exactly follow the books, all right? And it's a good thing that they did. I am one of the people of that opinion. If you're a Lord of the Rings book fanboy, I don't care. The point is, movies and film have their own
Oh,
requirements for the screen, and mangas and books and all of that, they have their own way of,
yeah,
giving a good experience to your audience. So
exactly.
in a situation like this, it is better to go with your experience of making a good show. Take the information from the manga, make sure that it is accurate to the manga, but then piece it together in a way that it is good for the screen.
Hmm.
Don't follow the manga up to a point that it's hurting your show.
True. Very
So
true.
that's what they're sort of doing with the story over here. That is the interjection with the story that I have. That
Mm.
it's fine. It's not bad. It's just pieced together in a way that it makes it really frustrating to watch.
Yeah,
True. Very
it's
true.
difficult to get through it.
Yeah.
Mm,
But that was our review, guys. Hope you like this review slash rant because we had a lot of things to say.
we did.
But if you have made it to the end of the video, thanks for sticking around and do subscribe to our channel. And hopefully, we'll see you again in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Take care. We're out. See you.